Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. About 3 months ago, I started a series where I would draw things I don't draw very often or I'm not that great at. And in that video, I decided to practice shoes. So to continue that series, today I'm going to be trying to paint a landscape. So let's get into the video. So I started off by filling in the base colours since I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I have seen some videos on YouTube of artists that mainly do landscape painting, and they tend to go in with the base colours first and then add in the details and the smaller parts after. So that's what I decided to do. I had a reference photo for this, so that was rather helpful. I feel like the reason in previous paintings that I've done, I haven't used a reference photo, and that might have been a large reason at least why they didn't always turn out that great. So yes, definitely recommend using a reference photo. Helps a lot. So, I mean, this isn't really a landscape, this is technically a seascape, but to be honest, I haven't done much of either, so still trying things I'm not that great at. So then I went in with some of the slight other colours in the sky. I decided to focus on one part and then focus on the next part after that, so I had smaller chunks to try first. There are a couple of things I would now do differently if I did this again, i.e. like where the sun is. Maybe do that once the other paint is dry, maybe block that in with the base colours because it kind of blended with the blue to make a green colour, which isn't what you're looking for. And then I went in to the sea. This is the part where I was starting to get a little bit nervous about this because I haven't really done this very much. So I got some colours and tried to make some wave looking shapes, but I think my main problem here, what I was doing, they looked very symmetrical, very kind of obviously placed there. They were too big and they didn't look random. So yeah, I did fix it a bit, but when I do this again, I will do this again. When I do this again, I would like to make them smaller and more kind of random because the sea is quite random where the waves are and where the waves aren't. Yeah, I then blended out all those because I didn't really like them and they were so wet, so I could blend them out a bit so I could try and do smaller ones. Yeah. For this video, I've only done one painting because while I want to do more, this one took quite a while, so I decided I'll focus on one today. Maybe I'll do another video where I'll do part 2, or I'll just kind of put a couple on Instagram. And if you want to see any of my Instagram paintings or drawings, my Instagram will be in the description. I post on Instagram a lot more often than I do on YouTube. And then I decided to try and put in highlights. Now, with highlights, you're kind of supposed to wait until the paint's dry, to be honest. Otherwise, you get a blendy white smudge instead of a highlight. So, yeah, that was a mistake. And I went in with a couple more waves, which were kind of smaller, but still, I think, not small enough to get that kind of sea-looking detail. Even though I'm complaining a lot here and saying there's a lot of things I would do differently and stuff, if I did this again, when I did this again, I keep saying if, I will do this again. Promising myself I will do this again. I am actually rather happy with the final outcome. Yes, there are things I would change and do differently if I did this again, and it's not completely perfect, but I am quite happy with it. I then felt like the sea and the sun looked quite boring. In the reference photo I was using, there was a couple of birds and trees in it, so I decided I'd do something similar. I also wanted to put in a couple of like island kind of land masses somewhere because I felt like it might look a bit better and also distract from the kind of mess that was the sea at this point. It is kind of nighttime, so I put in some stars as well with my Posca pen. I feel like I probably could have waited. And then I decided maybe the Posca pen could get like better highlights. So I put in a couple of highlights and then kind of blended it out with my brush so they weren't too harsh. And they were kind of smaller and stuff. So that works as well. My little problem with this is when I did the birds and the tree, they're not the best. If I had a black Posca pen, I could have done this in fine liner. I should have done this in fine liner. That's a stupid mistake. Anyway, well, that's one thing for next time. With the birds, I should do it in fine liner instead of in the paintbrush because I didn't have that much control and they just kind of look messy and a bit meh. I could go over them again, but I feel like I've already made a bit of a mess. So, oh well. I'm still kind of happy. Just ignore the birds and the trees and stuff in the corner. So I then went in with some more highlights because the sea is rather wet. So I did that. Also, I'm realizing now that maybe the sea should have been a bit more blue and a little less pink because it's not very often you see a pink sea. I mean, I guess if the sky is completely pink, but the sky is really blue and then the sea's pink. So yeah, there's some, okay, art doesn't need to make sense, right? What's the point of art if it completely makes sense? I mean, art that makes sense is pretty, well, my art never makes sense, so, we're just going to go with it. The sea's pink, the sky's blue, and the birds are completely wonky. So yeah, then I went in with a lot of little tidbits and tidying up slight things, which I do at the end of everything, and I was basically finished. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week for another video. Goodbye. I don't know why I'm waving. Goodbye.